Hello and welcome to another video with me, Winner, and to another video, Weekly Android, which I once again only actually really have one anime I'm going to be talking about this week. Mainly just because I just can't get myself around to really putting something together to talk about when it comes to any of the other anime I'm watching currently this week. Currently this season, despite how much anime I'm actually watching this season. Whatever. But, yeah, I guess I'll just go ahead and get straight to the one anime I'm talking about, which is Onimai. Which is, yeah. This is actually one of my favorite anime for the season so far, along with Hirokin, which Onimai kind of just feels weirdly wholesome to me. To the point where I'm actually just kind of wondering, why is it so fucking wholesome? Though I think the reason why it's like that is just mainly due to the fact that there is, of course, fan service in it and everything, but a lot of that fan service also kind of just feels wholesome, just depending on how you actually look at it. I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I feel like it's weirdly wholesome. Also, another thing is the fact that this is being adapted by Studio Bind, with the studio being the one that's adapting Mishiko Tensei. So yeah, there's that as well. Which also means the animation is a lot better than it would be if it was adapted by any other studio. So the fan service is even better here than what normally would be by if it was done by any other studio. So hey. But yeah, I guess I'll kind of just go ahead and mention the whole plot behind this. I got this actually started this whole thing here, which is basically just Mahiro ended up becoming a NEET due to Mihari overshadowing him in an attempt to get praised by him, basically. So Mihari was basically just trying to get praise from her older brother and everything, and that ended up eventually turning him into a NEET because he is being completely overshadowed by his little sister. And then, after all that, she, for some reason, decides to turn him into girl to rehabilitate him and basically turn him into a functioning member of society again. Though I also feel like a part of the motivation in turning him into a girl may have just been because she wanted to have a little sister. Just saying. Got a feeling that may have had a slight bit of the been a slight part of the motivation for doing it. Just a slight part of it, at the very least. But, yeah. One of the more surprising things in this, I kind of feel like, that's also a bit refreshing, is the fact that Madhiro is not really a pervert. He may be a degenerate, but he's not a pervert. Which is not something you actually see very often in anime, I feel like. Main character that's not a pervert when it comes to something like this. It's very clear that he's a degenerate, considering just look at his fucking room. But he's not a pervert. But, yeah. One of my favorite anime for the season so far. Which I honestly didn't really expect, to be honest. But it is one of them. And I honestly don't really have anything else to really say about this currently, besides, yeah. Really like it. Some of the fan service too. I kind of end up seeing again after going through to take screenshots and everything here. Especially with Kaede. So, yeah. Next thing I guess I'll talk about is Devious World, since I got around to finally doing the update for that. When I'm pretty sure the next update's going to be released next week. Seriously. So, if it doesn't get released next week, it's going to be the week afterwards, so yeah. Version 79. Not really that much was added, I feel like, to be honest. But I guess starting from the top with Gwen there. In which after, as it says there, getting rejected and everything, you kind of end up spending time with some goth girls. Kind of. Three of them there, and only two of them you can actually really do anything with currently. One of them ends up being a lesbian and would want you to look like a girl if you're going to be dating or anything. And then the other is Futa. I think she is at least. And yeah, out of the between those two, I'd definitely go with the voodoo personally. Just saying. As I said, the third one that there doesn't actually have anything written for yet, so yeah. That's basically everything there. Not tons, just more setup, I guess, get things started. And yeah, moving on to the next thing here, which is, yeah, Austin. One of the three things for Austin, basically. So Austin with this camera that he thing here. Yeah, basically just to sum up the camera in general, it basically mind controls people. Yeah, if you're taking pictures and giving orders, they'll do what you want. And with what's available there, you use it on your roommate to basically test it out. So, yeah. And next thing, which is basically two for one, kind of. So, yeah. First one between of those two there, you go down to the bath hot springs, or whatever it really is, I'm not sure, and accept Mokoto's invitation, kind of. Which of course leads to blue stuff. So yeah. Kind of stops in the middle of that, considering one of those choices due to something she says, because she might be trying to frame you for something, but, yeah. And, the other thing there, not setting an alarm there. Well, a ghost appears after you wake up in the middle of the night. So, yeah. And apparently, going by that ghost, there's also spirits in this hotel that you got now. So, apparently, three of them. So, you got the one ghost and apparently three spirits, and that's basically where it ends after she tells you that. So, yeah, basically, those two things, they're kind of together, considering there's literally one choice separating them. Considering you got the first one there, which branches off into two, has two choices there. One of them we already had, which led to the second thing there, and then the other was one that was just added here, and then with a second choice that we already had, split into two, what we had already, and the other one is what we just got. So, yeah. Awesome stuff. Covers that. Move on to Jamie, in which, yeah, one of these things again, we're in here. This time, the random thing that she ended up buying was a dildo. Yeah. I think you should all know how all of that plays out. I don't really need to say anything. And honestly, I don't like the fact that this was actually one of the longer editions in this update. I don't think it was the longest thing out of everything that was added, but it was one of the longer ones. Pretty sure longer than anything above this one here in the update. But yeah, moving on to Eric. The cat burglar Eric. Literally, because he's a cat boy at this point. Seriously, don't really remember the exact choices and everything, but she ended up becoming a supervillain if I remember correctly. And that's the reason for this stuff here. And yeah, you're robbing this rich person's house or something, and I'm pretty sure they are out, not actually home at the time, but their wife is. It's also a model or something that's kind of retired or something like that. But yeah, this choice here, I kind of think you could probably figure it out going by what it says there in the update notes. But yeah, kind of, right? So, yeah. After that, you end up going on to blackmailing her with what's currently available here, in which, personally, I would honestly hope that we kind of actually get some wholesome stuff with this, her considering her situation and everything is not great when it comes to her marriage, going by what Sexy says and everything, considering the person she's married to literally is the worst kind of person you could be married to. And literally, one of the things that it actually says in the game when it comes to them is that the biggest turnoff about their wife is the fact that they're they are their wife, and the biggest turn on about someone who's not their wife is their fact that they're not their wife. So yeah, cheating all the time. Worst kind of person you could possibly be married to. So yeah. Technically anything with her would be basically NTR, but asshole. She's married to an asshole, so I think it's forgiven. And I'm pretty sure the only way you could actually continue doing anything with her in the future at this point would be after that. Yeah. So, wouldn't it be too wholesome, I guess, considering that, but I honestly hope there's some wholesome stuff afterwards in the future. But yeah, another choice after doing that is Dr. Life kind of shows up and tells you that pheromones have basically kicked into overdrive or something. So, yeah, that's apparently a thing. So, yeah, next thing, Cyan. New game for new VR rig or whatever. Dungeon Lord Deluxe, which, of course, building a dungeon and stuff. The only things that's really available is to choose the character you're kind of playing as, male, female, food, or just playing as the dungeon itself. And out of those four options there, the only ones that are actually currently available are the male and Futa options. So you can only be a male or Futa Dungeon Lord currently. And between those two, they both basically everything that they have ends with a gotcha pull. Don't actually get to do the gotcha pull except for one of them for the Futa option, which eventually leads to you doing a boss fight, having your first fight against adventurers that come in. So, yeah. Quite interesting game there for Cyan at this point, and also one thing that kind of did get confirmed while looking at that is one of the other games for that. Corruption of Champions. I thought that was one of the games there. That's it, it was one of the parodies. Considering that's where I remember seeing that's name when I ended up finding Corruption of Champions too. Though I still haven't really continued playing that, considering I've been kind of sidetracked by Trials in Tainted Space. So, yeah. Finish playing that one, and then I'll probably get back to Corruption of Champions too. Probably. But yeah, you got the Corruption of Champions parody in there that barely actually has anything for Devious World now. So, yeah, that's that stuff all done. I'm done talking about all that. So, yeah. I guess I can kind of just go ahead and mention this when it comes to anime in general. Considering, yeah. I think there's like 5 anime at least that I'm watching this season have gotten delayed now because of COVID, apparently. Yeah, Japan didn't really have a good strategy, considering how heavily they rely on tourism, locking the country down for years and not allowing any tourists in. Kind of doesn't work very well when you try and open back up. Seriously, the best solution to deal with this, like any other disease, virus, whatever, is just go about as normal. Because it'll eventually get weaker and everything. Anything else is just going to prolong the suffering. So yeah, due to all that, we now have to deal with anime getting delayed again. It really sucks considering some of the anime are some of the good ones that are getting delayed. Really hurts. But yeah, other things. Finally got back to watching Gurusei Yatsura, continuing past episode 14. I've watched up to episode 26 now, so I'm like an eighth of the way through the anime now, I guess. And to be honest, I think the only reason why I actually got myself to actually continue it again is purely because my dad kind of watched the entirety of Inuyasha within 2 weeks. So, yeah. He's currently watching Yashahime, so, yeah. Uh, at least I'm kind of getting some kind of motivation from that, I guess. Watching some of the older stuff that I keep meaning to watch but can't get myself to watch. And seriously, I also need to watch Inuyasha myself, considering I haven't actually watched it yet. Another one of those old anime that I need to watch. But, yeah, this is the final weekly entry episode for January, so yeah, I guess I can kind of talk about the first month, guess. And so far, this year started off pretty well, I feel like, considering the whole getting back to streaming and also now continuing Gyurusai Yatsura amongst other things, I think, I've kind of gotten back to doing. And that is all despite how much anime I'm actually watching this season, considering this I'm watching more anime this season than I ever have in any previous season. But then again, we also got anime getting delayed now, so that's kind of getting reduced down again to what I normally would watch, kind of. Seriously, I think I had around 30 or something that I was watching, so with 5 I think around 5 being delayed, that'll bring it down to around 25 or something, which is closer to normal. But, yeah. Don't really have anything else to really say. Should probably doing more streams this week and continuing Nino Kuni Cross Worlds. Going through the Woebegone Wilds now. And also, at the end of the Witch's Woods, I can already tell exactly how the rest of this game is going to go up to the end of where things ended at the beginning before they added more content. Black Circle attacks Evermore. We start a counter-attack and go after the Black Circle, going through the Woebegone Wilds, eventually going to Rainbow Valley to attack them directly. And that's where it ends, after you do that. Yay! I can easily tell that's exactly what's going to happen at this point. And also, the Black Circle's only purely going to be able to actually get away with attacking Evermore, purely because the game forces you to do reputation quests before you leave the Witch's Woods, despite having absolutely no importance for the story anymore. That's my little head canon for this. Is the game forces you to do these reputation quests before leaving the Witch's Woods, which gives the Black Circle enough time to actually attack Evermore before you get there. That's my headcanon for it. Because the game, for some reason, continues forcing you to do reputation quests that have absolutely no importance for the story anymore. Seriously, at the beginning of the game, they actually worked the reputation quests into the story a bit, where you actually had a reason to actually do them when it comes to the story, and it continued for quite a while. To be honest, I think there's actually some of that still going on in the Glittering Grotto, but the moment you get to the Burning Desert, nope, not anymore. By the time you get to the Burning Desert, yeah, there's no point in actually doing reputation quests when it comes to the story anymore. It's just forcing you to do this pointless missions. And even more so when it comes to the Witch's Woods, and I'm pretty sure that's going to continue to Woebegone Wilds and Rainbow Valley and onwards. But I'm not going to be doing anything after the Rainbow Valley, considering that's where I'm going to fucking stop. Because I'm not continuing past that point. Too much fucking grinding at the game. I've already been doing this darn thing for over 6 months. But, yeah. Enough rambling about Ni no Kuni, I guess so. I guess that'll be the end of this episode here. So, yeah, there will be the end of this video episode here. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.